Hey everybody, this is Nikki, and I'm here to do a video that is my personal experience, not to be used as medical advice. It's an idea video. It is because I've moved on to the T-Slim like 6 months ago now, and I'm just now getting organized with charging it. I figured I would get on here and share a few ideas of how I charge my T-Slim and how I've managed to avoid letting it die on me again. Because it did happen once, and there are more serious consequences for letting your T-Slim die than there are with your Medtronic. And unless I did something wrong there, which is possible, that those consequences include having to change your cartridge when you power it back on. So as soon as I say that, I'm like, maybe that doesn't happen to other people, but that is what happened to me the first time, and that was less than enough for me to realize that I need to figure out a plan. And organization is not my strength. But I know how to buy things and I know how to carry a lot of stuff. So that's basically how I handle it. I will say, in my own defense, having come from Medtronic, the old Medtronic pumps, when it told you, first of all, Medtronic pumps use a battery, and the latest one I think is a AA battery. And when your pump would alert you, the old ones before the 670G, when it would alert you that your battery was dying, I mean, I would take that thing for like 6 days before changing it. And oftentimes it would finally die, and then I would go change. I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal. And there was definitely no, there was no rush. So there was no sense of urgency. That's what I'm looking for. There's no sense of urgency. Then enter the 670G. I had to change my habits. When it alerted me that my battery was about to die, it meant my battery was about to die. I think I actually timed it a couple times. I think it took 8 hours from the time I got the first warning until the time it died. And that was most of the time, but sometimes it took 4 hours. And I've heard people say that they've had the warning and then their pump was dead an hour later. So again, you didn't have to change anything out when it powered back on, but for people who are sound asleep when their pump dies, you learn to listen to that warning. And in fact, I even learned how to kind of check ahead to see where I was. So it was a good, to see how much battery I had left with it. So it was a really good transition, because when I got to the T-Slim, it really does require charging it. It's a daily thing. I'm not saying that I have to charge it every day. I really don't. And in fact, I think I can go 2 or 3 days without doing it. But for somebody like me, that's pretty dangerous, because it means that then I have to remember 2 or 3 days later. And that's where I struggle. So it's better for me just to do a daily charge of some sort. So I'll tell you how I've managed to make that happen. I have 3 options. That's the way I see it. I can either plug myself into the wall, which is not the ideal. Not the ideal because I don't like to have to sit still, and I don't like to plug in at night because I'm afraid I'll fall asleep with myself plugged into the wall. So I know I can do that, and as long as I'm going to be sitting still, it's fine. But it's not my preferred method. And that, of course, would be part of this, and I'll show you my cable in a second. I can also plug myself into the car, and I have done that. And in fact, I've learned that no matter how quick I think the trip is going to be, just plug in, because it usually takes double what I think it's going to take. And a lot of times that's 15 or 20% of the battery. I mean, like it's an easy 15 or 20%. And my goal every day is to keep myself above dead. That is my goal every single day. So I can plug into the wall if I know I'm going to be laying still. I can plug myself into the car if I know I'm going somewhere. And then this one is very funny, but this is what it is. This is my dollar store fanny pack, because it's a lot like a spy belt. The same thing would be true for the spy belt. But what I keep inside of it is a charger, a portable charger, and then the cable. And I seriously do, this is obnoxious, but I seriously do keep these 2 things. I do carry these things when I leave the house. I don't wear them when I leave the house, but I do carry them in a bag. And that way I know that even if my organization fails, because it often does, as a last resort, whatever, emergency, I have a way to charge at all times. And that's a big deal for me. For more organized people, no, maybe not. But inside the fanny pack, I do carry my cable, which comes with a pump. And I do carry, this is a Mota, whatever it is. It's a portable charger. I don't think it's even a great one. I'm not trying to bash them. I just mean it's probably not the more expensive kind. And I do charge this every single day every single day that I can remember. And usually whenever I can remember, whenever I know I'm not going to be leaving the house anytime soon. So if I'm, in the morning when I get up, I'll try to put it on the charger, or like late at night, sometimes when I know anytime I know I'm not leaving. As long as this is charged, that's my 670G whining in the background. As long as this is charged and I have my cable and I have a fanny pack, then I know I can plug this thing, and I can plug my pump into it, and I will seriously wrap the cable around my body and tuck it all into the little fanny pack, and I'll let it charge while I walk around the house doing stuff, or out of the playground. Doesn't make any difference. It's just it's a security blanket. I know I have that. As I said, I do carry this, and if I need to go into anywhere, again, as long as I have my cable and I have this, I can plug into an outlet. And as long as I have this in my cable, I can plug into an outlet at night. So those are the ways I charge. I'm trying to think of what else I say. And speaking of which, I'm at 15% now, because that is what so as soon as I hang up the video, then I will go and put on my fanny pack and plug into the Mota. But as I said, organization is not my thing. I would love to hear how other people, if you have a routine. I don't know how much I can fit routine into my life right now, because it's not a big part of it. But I'd love to hear if you have a system down, if you have a routine, or if you have something that you use that really is a great. My Mota is great, but it's not the fastest thing. And in fact, I'm thinking about replacing it maybe with a more expensive one, because I tend to be cheap with this kind of stuff, and that doesn't work at all. Anyway, if you have ideas, I don't get a lot of comments, but if you have ideas, I would love to hear them. How do you charge your T-Slim? So anyway, thanks for watching and have a good day. Bye.